Hey everyone, this is Steve from Blocktime with Steve and Courtney, which is a new show that Courtney and I are going to be starting in the near future. But before that, I thought I would give a detailed explanation of this visualizer, which is a blockchain visualization that I've created with some time off work that I've had recently. So what I'm going to do is just explain every aspect of this, try to start with the big scale stuff, and then kind of narrow down. So this data is running live off my Bitcoin node. This long wall here is a representation of the Bitcoin blockchain. This is all real data. This color scale here gives you the amount of Bitcoin that is locked into the wall. These animations you see here are new transactions, which represents coins being unlocked from a certain date and being sent to a new recipient right now. The new transactions, like more information, is detailed right there, to, from, amount, age unlocked. This is my donation address right here. And this whole thing is, I think, kind of the best way to visualize the blockchain. I guess it's kind of how I visualized it when I've been thinking about it. I've been in Bitcoin for a while, and it is often very hard to visualize exactly what's happening on the Bitcoin blockchain. Like I said, I had some time off and had this idea, so I've been working on this for a while, and I finally have it up and running. So what I'm going to do now is kind of go through every aspect of this, starting with the blockchain itself. So I've illustrated the blockchain, and this is simplified in a number of ways, and I'll go over each simplification. But I've illustrated this as kind of a brick wall that goes back in time from 1 hour. So time is short here, short increments here, and then longer increments. And the Bitcoin blockchain goes all the way back to about 8 years ago with Satoshi Nakamoto. So Satoshi's coins are locked in this visualization right around here. Like I said, this is all real data. Here's the color scale here, gives the amount of Bitcoin. So keep in mind, Bitcoin is like 2,500 right now. So 10 Bitcoin is 25,000, and 100 Bitcoin is about $250,000 right now. So $250,000 is in gray here. You can see that there is a lot of $250,000 Bitcoin accounts, a lot of addresses that have $250,000 of Bitcoin locked in them. The color scale here is for the new transactions, and it's similar to these transactions. I'm not sure if the colors show up very well on this, but that's something I'll work on. This is red, this is orange. Yellow means it's a very small, less than 0.01 Bitcoin transaction. I haven't seen a purple yet. Purple would be a lot of Bitcoin. Like I said, red, if you see a red one, you're talking about $1 million. It is kind of fun to just watch the Bitcoin blockchain and just watch millions of dollars getting sent all the time. The diagonal arrows here, or sorry, the diagonal lines are showing the date from which somebody unlocked some coins. So if I send some Bitcoins to someone, those Bitcoins had to be sent to me at some time. And so those are locked in the blockchain at that time. So if I were to send some of my coins from like 4 or 5 years ago, so I do have some coins that are locked in the blockchain around here. I was finishing up my PhD around 2014 and got majorly distracted by Bitcoin. I did manage to finish my PhD, but I do have some coins locked in the blockchain around here. After I bought them on Coinbase, I moved them to a cold storage. So I probably have, you know, a year later or so, I have some like long-term savings coins locked in there. So you can see here, this one goes back, what do we have? 2016. So we have some people unlocking some coins from a long time ago right now, which is an indicator that maybe people are moving their coins to long-term storage. Maybe someone's trying to sell some. Like you never really know what that means, but it's an interesting thing to look at. I guess I'm getting a little carried away with explanations. So let me go back into explaining more things about this illustration. So up here in the transactions, we have from address and a to address. I've only listed the first 5 characters of that address, both in the from and the to. This is the amount. And one simplification that I'm doing here is this is only simple transactions. This is only when like someone is sending Bitcoin from me to you. Bitcoin allows kind of like from many to one and one to many and a lot of fancy transactions too. But this is just the simple ones. This is just the first 5 letters of the address. This is the amount, and that's the age unlocked like I described previously. This here, I guess kind of the y-axis here, or the number of rows here, is one character for each of, or one row for each of the characters that are possible in a Bitcoin address. And this is like the most important simplification here. I've only used the 3rd character of the address. So V there, H there, D there. Really, if this was done correctly, I guess you would have a different row for every single possible Bitcoin address. But that's one of those numbers that, you know, human brain is not capable of thinking of. It would just be unfathomably large. So I've simplified it by just pretending like there's only 58 addresses in Bitcoin. But that gives you some sense of the address space. So the axis here is time, and then address space going up. And just think about the address space is really kind of like impossibly large. This, by the way, speaking of this is the hour. So a new Bitcoin block gets produced every 10 minutes. So I'm not sure if it's happened yet in this animation, but you will see this blockchain shift to the left and a new block column will be added. There it goes. Perfect. Awesome. All right. That was kind of amazing that happened right there. That really only happens on average every 10 minutes. I mean, sometimes it happens, you know, every 1 minute or every 30 seconds, or maybe it'll take 20 minutes sometimes. It's, but on average, it happens every 10 minutes. So while after you get a new block, that block is added to the chain. A miner found that block, added it to the chain, and then distributed that block to everyone that is running the Bitcoin network. And we're talking about thousands and thousands of computers. And some of those computers have these mining equipment, which are computers of themselves, like millions, or the hashing power, the computer power of the combined Bitcoin network is bigger than like all the supercomputers in the world like combined. It's really enormous right now. And all of those, the whole system is all operating on the same chain. So it's kind of, it's distributed so massively and it's the same everywhere. And the mechanism by which it is distributed and it is verified is just kind of, it's kind of like the miracle of the Bitcoin network. It's like, this is why it's like such a revolutionary thing. So like I said, in between blocks, what you have is new transactions that are getting sent to this thing called the mempool. They call it the mempool. It's like a memory pool. It's like just where your computer just kind of collects the latest transactions on the network, like emails, and waiting for a miner to like find a block. And so these colored blocks here are new transactions that have happened since the last block. You can see, I guess the colors don't come out that great, but we have some greater than 10 Bitcoin transactions. But we just had a block like a little while ago, so maybe I've missed like a purple one while I was looking at the screen. What else to explain? You, this is my donation address right here. So this is kind of how you send Bitcoins to people, or most of the time you scan an address using a QR code on your cell phone. So I have this copay wallet here, and I'm just gonna scan this address. Hopefully it'll come up. I'm gonna send myself $1 here. Not one Bitcoin. Make sure you do $1, not one Bit. Well, do one Bitcoin if you want. That's fine. And I am going to set this to a very low transaction fee right here. If you have a good wallet, you should be able to select a low transaction fee in times where the network is quiet. The network is relatively quiet right now. The network is capable of doing kind of 5 transactions per second. It looks like it's doing kind of more like 3 or 2 right now. So I'm going to send this transaction with a low fee and slide to send, creating transaction. I'm using the copay wallet from for Android right now, which is a wallet I'd recommend if you're looking for one. There's also a Bread wallet for Apple, which is also a nice one. But now that I'm recommending it, it's having problems. Well, we'll see. Well, hopefully that transaction will go through. If it does go through, you'll see a red donations thing pop up right here. What else can I explain? One thing to note about this visualization is the time scale here is not linear. So it's kind of logarithmic in a way. For the first kind of 20 blocks right here, I am showing every block, but then I'm showing kind of like every 3rd block, and then like every 100th block, and then every 1000th block. So I'm skipping over a lot of them right now. Sometimes if a block happens quickly, you'll see a whole column here shift where the column is mostly black, and that is because oh, there we got some red. Oh, we got almost. Oh, I can't do math on the fly. 141, 200. I think that's about $1 million. About that. No, that's about $500,000 right there. And yeah, I'm still waiting for that purple one to come by. So yeah, so sometimes you'll see a block which was found quickly. So you'll have like a lot of black here, and just maybe a few Bitcoins. It is possible to mine empty blocks if you just happen to mine something extremely fast before a transaction comes in. There's also been some kind of debate about the kind of whether mining empty blocks is cool or not. That's one of the details. There's if you're new to Bitcoin and you're actually listening to all the drama right now, I can only advise you to kind of not listen to it. Like I said, I've been in Bitcoin for a long time, and I've seen Bitcoin survive a lot worse. It's really kind of the honey badger, and that's kind of why Courtney and I wanted to create a show, just kind of talk about kind of the deeper and long-term and maybe funnier or lighthearted things about Bitcoin. And we don't want to get caught up too much in the drama, because Bitcoin it's a real thing. It's here to stay. I've got a background in computer engineering. I've got a PhD. I was a flight controls engineer for NASA. I just got back from working in the physics department at the University of Oxford. Bitcoin's the real thing. It's the most legit mathematically, and it's the most interesting thing around right now, in my opinion. And I don't think it's going anywhere. Hey, all right, so there's my donation, came through. Send myself $1. I also had to pay $1 to send that transaction right now, because one of the ways that miners make money is off transaction fees. So you have these like giant warehouses that are running, tons and tons of miners, like consuming electricity. These guys need to get paid. The way they get paid to support the network is through transaction fees. Right now it's about $1. there's some improvements that are going on in the Bitcoin world right now, which shouldn't make those lower. Another way that miners make fees is on the Coinbase rewards. So the only way that new Bitcoin comes into the wall, like if you were to just like sum total this entire wall right here, you would have the same amount of coins, except for on every block, you have new Bitcoin, which gets sent to the miner. That new Bitcoin is 12.5 right now. It used to be 25, used to be 50. It's called the halvening. Usually people with their like a big party for the halvening party where the block reward or the Coinbase reward gets cut in half. That is continually to happen. I think in the next 2 years or so, we'll have another halvening. So eventually the amount of Bitcoin will be steady. And the only way that the miners will make money is off these transaction fees. So let's see. Oh, we got 320 Bitcoin right there. Or yeah. So what's that? 3 times 2,500. That's what? That's close to $1 million right there. This Bitcoin, this network is transacting. Like people are trusting this network to send millions and millions of dollars all the time. Like this is a real thing. As you can see, I'm just kind of super excited about Bitcoin. I was very fortunate to get into it at the time that I did. Well, I think that's probably about it. If you have any questions about anything, please leave them in the comments section below. Just trying to think if there's anything else I missed, but hopefully you guys will let me know. And hope you'll tune into our new show. So me and Courtney, what we're thinking is we're just gonna have kind of a call-in show. Just have people call in, like if you're doing something cool in Bitcoin, you want some publicity. I guess we're kind of encouraging kind of women to call in because at our Bitcoin meetups, there's no women. So we're thinking maybe if we do a live stream, women will call in there. So if you're a woman, you're doing something good with Bitcoin, or you're just excited about it, or anybody really, just call in and we'll just see how it goes. All right. Thanks, everyone.